Alright guys, today I'm working on a little hatchet. This thing's been beat up. It's been abused pretty good. And it's been sitting for a long time. But I think I can salvage this handle and clean this up here and reset it. At least I'm going to try. I want to rescue this and save this thing from... it's hard finding handles like this anymore. Especially where I live, and when I go online to look for them and order them, I can't. I don't know what I'm looking for one. I'm not that good at this anyways, but I can't. Locally, my lumberyard can get some decent wood handles, and they've actually got some good stuff, but they have no way of getting these kind of handles. And I don't even know how long this handle is. It's 13 inch. Yeah, 13 inch. Anyways, I don't say I like the feel of it. It's there again, I'm just gonna give this as a gift to somebody, and they used it as a hammer more than they did as a hatchet because the blade is really in good shape. Hardly any nicks in it. So, but the casting is a little rough. But you know, back in the day, manufacturing, these were tools. These were not art pieces. Not like sometimes they are now. But anyways, I almost can get this out without trying. See if I can get a rubber mallet. Or soft blow anyways. It's coming slowly but surely. Going to gripe the way I'm using my hammer, but it's my tools. Remember, my tools, my rules. There it goes. Just go slow. Oh man. Well, the shim come out. Shoot. Look at that. Well, you know what? They used the shim to fill in the... I'll be darned. Yep, that's what they did. I guess during manufacturing process, or maybe when they reset it, they used a shim to fill in the void. Check that out. Yep, that's exactly what they did. They shaped this wooden shim to fit this. Well, now I'm gonna have to do a little whittling. I'm gonna have to see if I can do the same thing. Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to shake this down just a little bit right here. I want to try to set this down just a 1/4 inch or more. I'm able to use my vacuum now. Haven't been able to use it because it's been so hot outside, it sucks the air conditioning out. So fire this up and get started. right, I think I got enough trimmed off that when I go to set the handle, it's going to seat a little further down. But before I go too far, I want to clean the handle up with a razor blade. And we'll go from there. Alright guys, nothing fancy here. I'm just scraping it. Scrape all the tarnish, varnish, paint, whatever's on it. And then just some 220 sandpaper. After I scrape it, that's it. Should be able to salvage this handle. It's a little bit of work, but for all I know, this handle could be 60 years old, 70, who knows. I haven't cleaned the head up, so I don't know the maker's mark. By the looks of this handle, this thing was used. Alright, that's what I'm doing. I'll finish. Oh, it's got it. You know what? I think somebody wrote their name on it. Dick, D-I-C-K. Check that out. I hope I don't lose that. It's someone's history right there. Alright, let's finish up. I'll show you what I get. Alright, there, that's scraped with the razor blade. And look at that, there's some red paint. It looks like it was painted red right around the end here at one time. That's probably from the factory. It's kind of absorbed into the wood. And the grain is perfectly, look at the grain in that. It's just running straight, straight, straight. Anyways, now I'm gonna sand it lightly with some 220 by hand and clean it up. That's all I'm going to do to the handle. I got some hardwood. I might have some ash. And I'm going to try to duplicate this piece that factory or someone did. It's exactly what they did. I think I can make that work. And then once I put a shim in there, a steel shim, that should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. You know, I'm thinking I might be able to reuse this shim all together in a little glue. I normally don't glue my handles, and I was taught not to glue small items like these. Anything, you know, sledgehammer or you know, something like that, or it's about the only thing I was ever taught to glue in was sledgehammers. Everything else you fix on the job site. So if you don't glue them in, because if you glue them in, then you have to cut the handle off to rehandle it. And a lot of times all you need to do is just take it apart, clean it up a little bit on the shoulder here, and then reset the head and put a new shim or a new steel in it. But if you glue it, then you just ruin that. You know what? I think I can do this. Yeah. Talking myself into it, guys. Because this is designed to fit in there. All right, sandpaper time. I'll be back. All right, guys. That's about 7-8 minutes worth of time with 220 sandpaper, just hand sanding it. And all I did was just roughly, it's at 220, is very smooth. This thing is so smooth now. I left the name, as much of the name as I could. and I left all the paint as much as I could down here to make it smooth. I took a lot of the paint off the edge down here, which I didn't really want to, but there were some nicks in there that didn't feel uncomfortable. Now this thing is super smooth. I mean, it's a nice handle. So now to go to the axe head and look at the manufacturing on this. Look at the imperfection. Look at there. That's pretty cool. You can see all the dimples, marks in the head itself. I just think that's fascinating. I mean, people say quality, but you know, back then when they made these things, the quality was in the steel, not as how, you know, it's not designed to be pretty to look at. It almost looks like it's warped. It's like it's twisted. It does, doesn't it? I never even noticed that. Look at there. I think it's a little bent. Check that out. Now, is that done at the factory or did someone do that? Check that out. It sure is got a curvature to it. Well, I'm not going to try to fix that. It's still a good usable tool the way it is. Sometimes you can do too much work onto something and you make a prize heirloom and not a working tool. So I'm going to wire wheel it and then probably use a flat disc on it. Take some of that off because that's a rough edge. Boy, they rolled it over there a little bit. Let's see that. Anyways. Alright, I cleaned it up the best I could. I wish I wouldn't have went down on this part. Oh well. I'm going to go ahead and polish this top and this back. But before I do that, I'm going to put it on this fiber wheel. All it is for those of you, it's a... Hang on, let me get you. It's what it looks like. And it's Chinese or Japanese made. I think this is 400 grit. It may be 600. One was a 6, one was a 400. And all it is it's like Scotch-Brite. And it really does a good job. Just doing that, once you get the rust off of it, you can go over this fiber wheel and you can make your tools look good. Here, I'll show you. Look at that. See, that's just lightly buffs it, really. but I'm gonna finish this out and then put it on the polisher. That's it. Nothing fancy. Now polish. Let me move my... All right, guys, now I'm gonna do a little polishing. Nothing fancy here. This is a cheap, I think it's a Harbor Freight wheel. Little wheel right here. Industrial Supply, and then I got another one on this side. None of this equipment's expensive. It's all either cheap Harbor Freight stuff or the grinders, one from Pawn Shop, one from a flea market, and one from Facebook. So yeah, nothing fancy. Okay, clean my blade off. Excuse me. I'm gonna clean the buffing wheel off with my Sawzall blade. All it does is it fluffs it. There's my compound, cheap Harbor Freight stuff. got it polished up pretty good, and you can see the grinding marks from the factory. Anyways, I'm gonna clean the eye part out. I got a little tiny, I think it's stainless steel brush. I'm just gonna put on a drill and run through. You see some of the rust smoke coming off. There's not much in here, but still clean it up a little bit. Got another brush somewhere, I can't find it. I don't know what I did. Time to vacuum and sweep and mop my shop again. Damn. Alright, let me finish this and get back to it. Alright, I'm going to give it a good cleaning. I'm not going to use denatured alcohol. I'm going to use what I'm used to. Carburetor cleaner. It's getting the black off, yeah. You can use denatured alcohol. I know that's what you're supposed to use, but you know what? I like using carburetor cleaner. So that's what I use. Give it a good deep cleaning so the bluing will take. Yeah. Keep cleaning it until I get no more black off. And some of this is the polishing compound. Some of it is just from running over the fiber wheel. Yeah, see, there's nothing on the top of it. Yeah, look at the black. You know what? I just realized I didn't clean down in there. Darn it. I need Dremel too. Alright guys, I'm going to use a little artist brush. Yeah, I could use a sponge, I could use cotton swab, I can use a lot of things people suggest. The thing I like using this, I have more control and I don't have runoff off the edges if you do it right. So, and plus, it's what I like using it. Use what you like. Use what's comfortable for you. Once you find a method of doing something, it works. Boy, this metal's like absorbing it. Holy smokes. Check that out. Man. Yeah. I think I can clean up the blade a little bit. I just don't want to have to do a lot more work to it. I'm going to wind giving this away too. Look at the blue. Look at the, I don't know, kind of cool looking. Looks like you're looking inside a clamshell or something. You know, it had different bluing and black and little colors. It says 60 seconds, and I'm using this stuff, which I do like this stuff. I think it works very well. I'm really happy with it. I have used this stuff, and I can't really say anything bad about it. It works good, but I like the other stuff better. Only because this says you don't rinse, you just wipe dry. Or you wipe, it says, I can't remember how they word it. Hang on a second. Allow to work, dry in one pass with a clean towel. Okay, and then let completely dry and then buff it with 1/0 or finer steel wool. And I got a whole bunch of 4/0, so that's what I use. See, I got a little wet spot there, and I got a little wet spot there. It's drying. Man, look how ugly it looks now. It'll look better here in a minute. Once you hit it with that steel wool, it works really good. I mean, I like it. Now, some of you guys have seen me do this before, but there's some new viewers that don't know, so I'm trying to show every little bit. And what I do may not work for you. Just understand that I'm probably not doing it properly, but it works. The way I'm doing it works for me. Hope you guys can see how it shines up. And I did clean my table, but look, I didn't even think about the hairs of the steel wool. Darn it. Oh well. It is what it is. It'll come out. I can always redo it. My tools, my rules. Check that out. I hope it comes out. It looks like a good sheen. The camera doesn't. I got a little view screen that I looked through, and it doesn't really say much or show much. All right. Let's. I was going to blue this part of it. You know, I just realized this part's not going to take bluing very well because I did not put the effort on this part of it like I did the sides. Oh well, ain't nobody gonna die from it. Trying to make sure it takes on this part of it right here where I ground the I don't know what you want to call it, the edge where they pound on it. I'm trying to make sure it takes color on that more evenly. This factory edge on this side was different than the other side. It's ground different. I wonder if they hand ground these in a factory back in the day. I wish I knew somebody that worked in an old factory like that. There's probably an old newsreel somewhere where they show how the stuff's made. It's not on the internet yet. Wet look now. Just let it sit for 60 seconds or so, and then steel wool it. This video, sorry guys if these videos are long, but somebody may need to see something or how I do something. I hate to cut something out that someone may use or need to watch. You can always fast forward. If you want to see the end, fast forward the end. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I just like the way, I like how it looks when the bluing takes effect. Though I do like my polishing. I think that just looks good when it's polished. There's something about a polished tool when you go to work on something and you've got good clean tools right beside you. One pass, it says. There we go. Look at the, almost looks like dirt. Now you can see a lot of the uneven color. I don't know if the steel wool makes it disappear. I don't know how it does it. I don't care. It looks good to me. I'm sure there's a chemical reaction or a mechanical reaction. One of the reasons I'm bluing this, oh man, I got wet stuff on my hand. The person that I'm going to give this to, he liked the bluing that I've done in the past. He just thought that was fascinating. So I'll give it to him. He's got one of his grandpa's axes that he wants me to clean up, axe head. There. Now, you can put more coats on, and it does say apply a thin darkening coat with a small dampened cotton between the fingers. Wipe dry and burnish with steel wool again. So, let's do it. I don't think it darkens it anymore though. After you polish it with the steel wool, it gives it a, it kind of like tinsels the material on top. It kind of floats on top. Because it doesn't say to rough it, doesn't say to clean it, just says put some more on. Alright guys, I'll stop the video here and finish wiping it, and well, wait a minute, I might just finish this side and then do that way you can see. It says about 60 seconds. Sorry, I had to drink some Mountain Dew. Let it set for 60 seconds and then wipe dry with one pass, which is kind of, I don't understand why that's a big deal, but I do what the directions say. Trying to get down in that crack. There. All right. I'll do the other side and give it a light buff. Come back, set the handle. Ah, look at that. I got an over drip on the other side. Darn it. All right, guys, this is either gonna work or it's gonna suck. See if I can seat this a little more. Oh yeah. Now I'm using soft blow. Oh yeah, it's seating good. Looky there. That's all right. Now I'm gonna get some glue. Yeah. That's the way it was, right? Yeah, that's the way it was. Normally I don't glue them, but I will this time. Hell of an applicator, isn't it? S&K screwdriver. Got to clean this one back up again. I've cleaned it twice now. I use it so much. Come on, come on. Split off this way, it did. Yeah, loosened it. I hit the wrong spot. Now I gotta get a punch and drive those two parts of the shim down in there further. Yeah, now it's curling the wood, so I know it's seating better on the handle. All right, let me go get a punch. I'll be right back. All right, I griped about this before. I painted, these tools were in a fire, and I salvaged, most of these are Craftsman and Plum, I think. But Cobalt Tools box that I have has that blue material they sell. Everything sticks to it. And that's I hope you guys can see, that irritates the crap out of me. Everything, and doesn't do it to any other material that I've bought, the cheap stuff off of Amazon. It doesn't stick. But that stuff that Cobalt sells, if Cobalt, you can hear me, your liner material for your toolbox suck. Just irritates me. Anyways, I need a blunt, and I don't have anything blunt. Everything's got a sharp edge. It's driving it in there. Just going slow. All right. I'm gonna clean this up on the, might use the bandsaw. I was gonna sand that off, but I think I'm gonna use the bandsaw and clean that up a little more. Looks like I seated pretty good. I've got a little bit of material curling out. All right, let's, I got glue on there I got to clean off. Let me cut this off and then I'll go get a metal. I may wait, probably. Let me cut this off and come back tomorrow. Let this glue dry. No, I better not let the glue dry because, dummy, if you let the glue dry, it'll split even worse. Yeah, I'll need to cut it and put the shim in there. All right, I'll be right. All right, guys, don't judge me by my nasty table. I have not cleaned my shop up in a while, like 3 weeks. All right, filled in pretty good, and I got shims, 2 metal shims, and I'll put 2 in. I'm gonna angle them just a little bit. Get to use my my Sears anvil. This one up near the front, try to angle it a little bit. Like that. I think it filled in very well. It's tight, it's good and tight. So now let me clean the glue off on the polished areas because I don't want to I don't know if it'll stain the metal. And then we'll put some boiled linseed oil on the handle. I'll do that now and then a couple times later tonight and then for the rest of the week. All right, boiled linseed oil. I've got to get me a pour. This stuff sucks. Look at that, you can't, I hate making a mess like this. Just irritates the God out of me. I'm gonna get me one of the, I'm going to Walmart. I normally don't drive to town for one item, but I need to get some other stuff anyways. I am going to buy me a squeeze bottle, something that can pour this. Just irritates me. The other handle that I did this to, I soaked it every day. Every night I soaked the handle and it turned out so nice. I mean, so smooth. So there was one of the commenter asked me if I paint handles or anything like that on the yard tools and stuff. No, I don't. It's just, that's something I was never taught or told. To tell you the truth, I'm a redneck, and if a tool can be salvaged, I have a rake that's probably, it's old as my daughter. It's close to 40 years old, and the handle broke on it twice. I replaced the handle once, so the second time the handle broke, I went and got me a piece of conduit and welded the conduit to the head of the rake. And it's one of those flexible tine leaf rakes. It's one of the best rakes I've ever owned, and I got mad last time and didn't want to put another wooden handle on it, so I welded a piece of conduit. I think it's three quarter piece of conduit. I'll have to look. Best rake. We use that thing. My wife has got it up by the wood pile now. The leaves are falling a little bit because we've had so much dry weather. Oh, there's discoloration there on the handle. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this sit and then come back, put a couple more coats on it. Oh, and we'll go from there. I hope I was hoping there was a name on it, but oh well, there's no name. I don't care. It's a good axe. Hatchet. Told you. It's gonna get something to pour that linseed oil. 97 cents for this container. Works great. I can pinpoint it. No waste, or at least not as much as it was with that can. And no, I don't have a warning label. I don't have anything on it. It doesn't matter. It's my shop. If you're in my shop and you want to drink this, go right ahead. It's 3 coats and it's looking good. That handle is taking it really well. Yeah, it's gonna turn out great. And I also got linseed oil on the top. I was able to pinpoint a lot of linseed oil on this. So let's let this dry and come back and wax the head and put another coat on this or two. I'm gonna see if I can't find anything similar online that looks good like this. See what maybe brand it is. All right, guys, camera's messed up again. All right, let's throw a little bit of wax on here. And for those of you guys who want to know, I use that wax on everything. Plastic, glass, metal, you name it, I use it. Doesn't need much. I've got 3 coats of linseed oil on it already. On the handle. And it's every time I put a coat on this handle, it gets darker. Man, this gets darker. All right, check that out. Look at that. I polished the back. Yeah, I don't know if you can remember all the grooves and nicks and how it was bent real bad on the edges there, but that's fixed. I got lint on it now. But anyways, I polished the top of it. I really need to clean that. I think that's a spick of glue. Oh well. I put 2 shims in it. Boy, I wish I could see the camera better. I think I got it filled pretty good. I've soaked it quite a bit here, and then the handle itself. And I'm not sure what those tiny holes, if that's sawdust or paint. Now the only thing is you can see a little bit of red on the bottom of the handle. I took this to a friend of mine who runs a hardware store, Ace store in town, and he thought it was a Winchester brand, an old Winchester hatchet, but it looks more like a plum, kind of like a Boy Scout. Hang on, let me grab one. Nah, it's not light. I did find Boy Scout axes and plum hatchets like this style and size online in 22 to 28, 1922, 1928. They're not named, but there's no markings on this. You know, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think of it? Do you like it? Does it look good? It feels, this one feels better than this one. I don't like the neck on this. This is the style of hatchet handles I get in town. And they're, I don't know, it's thick. It feels good, but this feels better. This thing feels way better. And then there's the old Craftsman, and that's, see, this is a straight handle. That's another one of them that I get in town, these type of handles. I'm not fond of these straight handles, but I don't care. I saved this handle. I was able to salvage it. I've got so much linseed oil in it. Every time I touch it, it comes off on my hands now. So I need to let this dry for a couple hours and come on, put another coat on tonight. But there you go. That's what a $4 or $5 hatchet looks like. And I'm gonna venture it's around 100 years old. It's old enough, and my buddy that runs the store says that there was a lot of brands that manufacturers back in the early, because he remembers when his dad and grandpa had it, there was makers of tools, and they just made them and shoved them out. The only thing that gets me is that thing's twisted. It sure is. You guys, you really notice it when you're looking down on it. I can see it in the camera there. It does look twisted. And we talked about it, and he said that could be from manufacturing. He said he can't see how somebody could have used this as a pry bar and without snapping the handle or damaging it. We think that's manufacturing. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And none of my others are made. I mean, that's the Craftsman. I'm gonna put some more linseed oil on that while I got it out. But anyways, I present you a nice old little hatchet. Nothing fancy. I mean, I've got maybe an hour and 20 minutes of cleanup time on this thing, and most of that is probably in the handle. I'm just wanting to save it. You know, guys, my channel's not about bringing things to new art piece or anything like that. This is for good usable tools. And I'm gonna give this away to a friend of mine. I'm sure he's gonna like it. So, you know, while you're out and about, and hit them flea markets and thrift stores, look on Facebook Marketplace. I just saw one just now on Facebook. I can buy it and a bunch of other hand tools for $25, and it's worth it. So get out there and look for that old stuff, that junk that people think is junk. It's not junk. Just because it's been sitting for 20 or 30 years and nobody's taking care of it doesn't mean you can't bring it back. And this is a good example of saving it, and it's going to be repurposed and going to be used. This is going to be used. And think about it. If this is 100 years old plus, it's still usable. It's still something you can take fishing, hunting, whatever you want. And he's going to take it fishing. I know what he's going to do. He's going to sit there all night, catfish. He's going to get him a little fire going, and that's what he's going to use. So, yeah, still not. I got the linseed oil over everything, and it's not drying. I'm touching it. Oh well. I hope you like what I did. If you guys got any ideas what you think this is, let me know. I think it's a plum or Western. Like I said, the handle was only red to about here. Some of the others I saw online were red all the way up to here. So anyways, I think it's pretty cool. It's got some history. I wish these tools could tell us where they've been and what they've done. This obviously wasn't used much. I didn't do anything to the blade. I mean, well, I say didn't do. I used a little hone stone, a little bitty, hang on. That's all I used, just a little bitty hone stone. I didn't do anything. So it wasn't used there on this blade. It was used here as a pounder. Somebody used it to just beat. For all I know, this thing was used in, we have a lot, here around here we have about every 6 months or so we have a fair or an event where they have these traveling little circus type things. It could have been used in something like that. It could have been used a farmer. A lot of these old ranchers and farmers around here, you see these in an axe in the back of their trucks. And you know, you got a fence post loose or a branch fell down on your fence line. A lot of times you can't get a chainsaw started. It's been sitting for 4 or 5 months, but this thing always starts, always works. So anyways, here I'm blabbing. I need to shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you liked my video. Tell me what you think. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down, and subscribe if you would. Try to save all the old tools I come across. Sometimes I screw them up. Sometimes I can't run them. Every once in a while you run across something you just can't save. But in this case, save the wood handle and everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good day. Thanks.